I've sunk many hours into Core Keeper, progressing through the game and for sciencing all the things. And in this video, we'll go over some of the tips and tricks I wish I knew when I first started. Alright, you ready? Let's do this. The first one's really handy, especially when you're just starting out, and that's the use of torches. Instead of selecting them on your hotbar, just hold down the shift key and it'll equip a torch temporarily. This is obviously assuming that you have torches in the first place. And the torches don't even need to be on your hotbar. You can have them anywhere in your inventory. Releasing the shift key will go back to whatever you had selected in the first place. This is especially helpful at the beginning because you'll likely be punching dirt walls, so instead of doing this in the pitch black, you'll be doing it nicely lit. When you're upgrading your tools, you won't need to upgrade your shovel for a long time. In fact, unless you're digging up mold to grow a special seed, you could get away with just a wooden shovel, as it does just about the same thing as an upgraded variant, the only real difference being the durability. However, using wood shovels is a great source of scrap parts, and you'll need a ton of these for repairing your other tools and armor. Speaking of tools and armor, make sure you're carrying a salvage repair station, scrap parts, and other materials you may need to repair your gear when you're out exploring for long periods of time. It's a pain in the butt travelling all the way back to base just to repair. While you're out exploring, make sure you're also carrying a stack of wood to craft bridges. This will enable you to cross canyons and water you otherwise couldn't. Building bridges is so much easier and faster than digging round looking for a way to the other side. Come on, be honest, we've all done this. No, just me? God damn it. X marks the spot. No, not that spot. If you're out exploring and you come across an X on the ground, well, these are digging spots filled with glorious treasures. Well, not entirely. These usually contain valuables and you'll probably end up selling these to the merchants, but obviously worth digging up. The dirt, clay and stone biome share the same loot pool for each digging spot. However, the grass biome has its own loot pool. I'll leave a link to the wiki below containing everything you can dig up from these spots. You know what else you can dig? The like button. That didn't work at all. I tried. When you're choosing your talents, you've probably questioned your choice and wish you went down a different path. Well, luckily we can reset these and it's generously cheap at only 200 ancient coins. If we use the melee combat skill tree as an example, there may be times that you want to take knockback over increased attack range. You may want to change your playstyle to deal with a specific boss or mob. So that's just one example from the 9 skills currently available to us. Organisation is tricky, especially if you're like me and you have a bad memory. I'm constantly forgetting where I put everything. Wait, what were we talking about? Pedestals. You can place pedestals next to the chests with the item you're storing in said chest. That way you'll know what's in each chest by the item that's on the pedestal. You can also change the colour of the basic chests by crafting a painter's table, then crafting a paintbrush and right-clicking on the chest you want to change. The following colours available are yellow, blue, red, green, white, black, purple and brown. I think that's all the colours. Let me know in the comments below if I've missed any. Did I mention my memory's pretty bad? Speaking of changing colours, you can do the same to beds. But did you know beds restore health? Funnily enough, I actually didn't until very recently. I crafted beds for merchants and for decoration, but I never even thought to interact with them. Sleeping in one will restore 5 health every 5 seconds. Sleeping in a bed will also alter your spawn location, so when you die, you'll respawn back at your bed instead of the core. That's especially handy if you fancy relocating and building a base in a different location. If you're playing with a friend and you want to share a location, did you know you can ping the map with middle mouse? This is helpful when sharing information about a specific area. Oh, and it's also color coded so you can tell players' pings apart, or you could just have a ping party. As you progress through the game, you'll probably have a lot of excess materials. If we use the early game wood for example, you probably won't be using very much of this in the late game. So if you fancy leveling up your crafting skill a little, why not go ahead and craft a ton of bridges? They cost 1 wood, it's something you will likely need a ton of for exploring, and it's probably the most efficient way of increasing your crafting skill. As for the characters and the worlds, they're actually interchangeable, meaning you can take your main character from your main world and throw them into a brand new world. Everything your character has on them will stay with them. So you could transfer items from one world to another, visit a friend's world, or create new worlds for testing. You can also create a new world to fight all the bosses all over again without having to respawn them. That's what I did to find the easiest way to defeat them, and if you want to know how I did it, then check these videos out next.